Parks and Recreation is superb at constructing highly meaningful friendships and relationships between its main characters. Besides the series' lead couple, Ben Wyatt, Adam Scott, and Leslie Knope, Amy Poehler, the storyline following the city manager, Chris Traeger, Rob Lowe, and Nurse and Perkins, Radisha Jones, is one of the most well-constructed and developed relationships in the entire series. Falling under the slow burn trope, the two don't reconnect romantically until later in Season 5, when he realizes his feelings for her. That being said, the Parks and Recreation couple wouldn't exist without the worst character in the show. Chris Traeger arrives in Pawnee in the second season of Parks and Recreation, Episode 23, The Master Plan, alongside Ben Wyatt to assess Pawnee's funds and assist with the city council's severe budget cuts. Unquestionably, the pair were the best additions to the series in the aftermath of Mark Brendanawicz, Paul Schneider, leaving Parks and Recreation, and was exactly what viewers needed, demonstrated through the immediate warmth the audience bestowed upon them. It is hard to believe that Chris Traeger's relationship with Ann Perkins is owed to one of the series' most disliked characters, Councilman Jeremy Jam. Jeremy Jam set up the events for Chris Traeger to be Ann's baby's father. Councilman Jeremy Jam crashing the gala is to thank for the couple's relationship. Jeremy Jam in the city council chambers in Parks and Rec. Councilman Jeremy Jam harassing Leslie Knope during her wedding at the gala in Season 5, Episode 14, Leslie and Ben, set up the conditions that were needed for Ann and Chris to rekindle their relationship. The consequences of this lead the main ensemble to the Pawnee Police Station, where Andy Dwyer, Chris Pratt, discovers his application to join the police was not successful. This information was withheld by Chris, albeit unintentionally, as the opportunity to tell Andy had not arisen. Consequently, the pair share a moment in the Parks Department after Ben and Leslie's wedding, where Chris comforts Andy. It's interesting to consider how the events might have played out if Andy had been told about his application earlier in the episode. However, the timing was ideal as it meant and was in attendance at that moment when Chris approaches a disheartened Andy to give him a pep talk during the wedding celebrations, and watches the entire scene play out in the next room. It's at this moment that she comes to terms with the paternal and caring nature Chris possesses, which brings about the events of Ann asking him to be her baby's father. Although it's unusual that Ann had not initially considered him for co-parenting, especially when Howard Tuttleman, the douche, was on the list of choices, the assumption can be made that this was purely down to their previous history. Ann may have been hesitant to rekindle their relationship after the heartbreak she experienced after their breakup in Season 3. With that in mind, their pregnancy was what ended up leading them to restart their relationship in Parks and Recreation, and the couple have Jeremy Jam to thank for it. Chris and Ann getting back together led to them becoming one of Parks and Rec's best couples. Chris and Ann had the most genuine relationship in the series. The authenticity of Chris and Ann's connection sets their relationship apart from others in the series. Conventional sitcoms have characters destined for each other from the beginning of the show, but this isn't the case for Chris Traeger and Ann Perkins. As can often be the case in the real world, their relationship is not without its flaws. There's been heartache and hurt in their history, but this is exactly what makes them more relatable to their audience. More often than not, their relationship isn't romanticized, but is a more accurate depiction of the challenges couples face in day-to-day life. Obviously, Leslie and Ben are the sitcom's principal couple, with an almost easy journey to end up together. Beyond Ben and Leslie briefly breaking up in Season 4, the couple rarely quarrel, and when they do, it barely lasts beyond one episode. The same goes for April, Aubrey Plaza, and Andy's relationship, too, which is more of a conclusive representation of young love. Instead, Chris and Ann have lots of raw moments in the series. One of them is during her pregnancy, where she gets increasingly frustrated with Chris for his positivity and inspirational advice when she really only wants to talk about her feelings. Ann's irritation is very understandable from the audience's perspective. Although Chris is trying to help and showing compassion, it demonstrates that there is no perfect formula for a relationship, and moments of care can sometimes be misjudged. It's this open communication between the pair that makes their relationship feel more genuine than the other couples in Parks and Recreation. Other terrible things Jeremy Jam did in Parks and Recreation. Councilman Jam has ruined too many experiences for Leslie Knope. Chris and Leslie sat with Jeremy Jam talking in his living room. Jeremy Jam is possibly the most disliked character in Parks and Recreation. His egotistical character only ever appears to cause trouble for the main protagonists, or when he's attempting to use government protocol for his own advantage, and telling them, "You just got jammed." His actions always have the worst consequences for Leslie Knope, who he has an ongoing rivalry with throughout the show. Particularly Lot 48, where jam caused numerous obstructions to the park so that he could gain from a fast food chain built in its